Hello, everyone. My name is Malcolm. Welcome to an absolutely brand spanking new edition of TV Bingebox. If you're watching this live, whether it's on TV Black Box, the website, you're watching it on our YouTube channel for TV Black Box, or even, and I'm fancy schmancy now, on Spotify, hello. If you're listening, you missed entirely the whole visual gag that I offered there. Welcome to a big new week of TV Binge Box. We have got so much. We are talking about the reality battle that kicks off on Monday, the 30th of January, which it's why it's so timely that I get this out to you. But first of all, that you're here. It's great to have you here. Thank you for tuning in, for subscribing, for watching. TV Binge Box only exists because you are keen enough to have a listen to what I have to say. I know this is the rebooted new iteration of TV Binge Box, and big love to Dan, Brookie, and Joe, who are off doing very important things, and I hope to get them independently on the podcast across this season. We'll see how we run. I have some big sizzle at the end of today's episode, but don't tell anyone. I'll make sure you know about it. If you want to keep in touch with everything that's happening in my world, in TV Black Box's world, or TV Binge Box's world, then the best way to follow me is at my Linktree. Go to Linktree/Steve Malk. That's linktr.ee/Steve Malk. And you can find all the important links to things there. And I'll even start to put in links to podcasts as I guest on them so that you can check out my work in other areas, or the things that I have to say that might not be about, maybe television adjacent. Who knows? Do I have those things? Who even knows? Thank you for joining us again. As I said, it's going to be a massive episode. The one thing that you can do other than subscribing and telling your friends about it and grabbing their devices and getting them to subscribe is rate and review the podcast wherever you listen to it. 5 stars, nothing less. Rate it however you want, but certainly leave a review. That's very helpful. It boosts the podcast and gets people to know that it's back, that it's doing things, and it's great to have us about. Look, as I said, this week is all about reality television, with one exception. So if you're not a fan of reality, you might have to grit your teeth for this, but we have got 3 big new reality shows, or new seasons of reality shows, coming to us quick, starting with an oldie that has just become a newie.
Shine bright like a diamond.
Australia, an entire generation has been waiting for this.
The biggest star maker on the planet
I'm Guy.
is back.
You're 16 from Darwin.
No one knew their names.
Hello, Kelly.
Jennifer Hudson from Chicago.
Until Idol found them.
I'm Adam Lambert, and I'm from Hollywood, California.
Now, we're going to every corner of the country.
Leaving no stone unturned.
No bridge uncrossed.
No chance unseen.
To find your next Australian Idol.
Fine light in the beautiful sea. I chose to be happy.
You and I, we're like diamonds in the sky.
You're a shooting star, I see. A vision of ecstasy.
When you hug me, I'm alive, like diamonds in the sky.
I knew that we'd become one right away.
Every dream.
Oh, right away.
Every heartache.
At first sight, I felt the energy of sun rays.
Every triumph.
I saw the light inside your eyes.
Shine bright tonight, you and I.
Australia, the wait is over. Live television is back.
This is Australian Idol.
Australian Idol is back for season 8, technically, but the first season on Channel 7. And that promo just shows that 7 are going to be real serious about it. I will offer the hardest working people, at least in the promo concept, are the drone pilot and the guy who had to drive that Australian Idol truck everywhere, because jeepers, they got around the country. They got to see lots of different places. It's massive. I've seen the first 2 episodes of this. Of course, for those unfamiliar with the format, it's a big cattle call, turn up audition. You get to stand in front of the judges and sing your heart out. You may be great. You may be not very good. You may be deluded and think you're great and you're not very good. The edit brings us together, all of that mix of people. And it is pretty amazing. The 4 judges are front and center. And for the judges, we've got Meghan Trainor from the US, Australia's Amy Shark, Harry Connick Jackson Jive Jr., who understandably taught us a lesson about blackface and its history, and Kyle Sandilands. I have to admit that I watched a bit of the earlier iteration of Idol and wasn't overly enamored, particularly when Kyle started to pop up more frequently. Now, I'm told reliably by people that know Kyle that he's a great guy. He's just very frank, and that his public persona is not close to who he is. Look, I'd have to say, if you're an anti-Kyle person, this is probably as close to nice Kyle bubbling through into his public persona, because he's quite nice sometimes. And he is certainly frank and doesn't mince words when he comes to stuff that he thinks is great or people he think aren't very good. He's certainly very entertaining for Meghan Trainor. She loves him. She's seated next to him and she enjoys all of. There's some great banter. That's pretty good. Amy Shark's fine. Harry Connick Jr. seems a little bit disinterested. Maybe he was fresh off the plane or I don't know, but maybe it was long days. And that's what we see when we get to some of the big auditions that we have line up. You wouldn't know until 20 minutes in that there were hosts. And for this iteration, it is Rikki Lee and Scott Tweedie. Rikki Lee, of course, a former Australian Idol alum. And just by the way, in that trailer, they show a whole bunch of people that have been previous Idol winners. We only get 2 Aussies line up and they didn't even show all of them. Casey Donovan won and she's not listed there. We also didn't get the people that were close but actually got decent careers out of it. Think Shannon, What About Me, Noel, or even Anthony Kalia, who's doing massive business still. There's lots of people who got their start on Idol that are still Rob Millsy Mills, musical, Australian musical royalty nowadays, theatre royalty. He's doing a great job. So there's all of those sorts of things. We didn't need Carrie Underwood and Adam Lambert and that stuff thrown in. That's Americans, not us. But nonetheless, there's not enough of the hosts, Rikki Lee and Scott, even in the green room, in the pre-stuff. But they do pop up. But we'll see more of them when we get to the later stages. And later stages, just by the way, first round of auditions get us to the cattle call, get us to 50. The judges select their top 50. That top 50 gets cut down by them to 24 and then to 12. And after that, we go to live shows, just like we used to. So that's why Kyle was making a big deal in the promo about live television is back. I mean, we'll find out how live it is when we get there. It'll be, sort of on a short delay, but I'd expect if they're calling it live, it's live, not as live, as in recorded as live. But we'll see where we land in it. It's fun. And I really enjoyed the effort, and they have poured a lot of effort into making this look good. Warning, if you are someone that has a small bladder, the first segment runs for 24 minutes. That's a lot of television before you get to get up and go wee. So just be prepared for that. One small criticism, I didn't like the staged fake crowd stuff outside the venues. Is like, oh, here come the judges walking in. Blah, blah. One deep. It's basically 2 lines of people that they spread apart and said, hold up this sign that we made and shout and look like you're happy about seeing, Kyle walk in as a judge. It's not, it's bad producering. Get either lots more people or one-side it so that they're 2 or 3 deep. Don't show us 2 lines of people and make us think like there's a crowd there. I'm a massive fan of the delusional audition, the person who thinks that they're great and they are not, and that they reveal that when they sing, and how polite some of the judges are and how impolite some of the judges are. And you'll be surprised who can be impolite sometimes. And often it's just them calling it straight. They're not being disrespectful. They're just, that's not, you can't sing. It is enjoyable. If you're a fan of the format, you will be not disappointed because it is really, really good. Seven have done a great job on this. It is slick. It is well produced. There's some great nods to the past. Hello, Osher, formerly known as Andrew G, and his sidekick, James Matheson, who are fresh off Channel V, I think, at that point, to host the first seasons of Australian Idol. Is it overhyped? Yeah. Seven have been absolutely smashing the promos through the cricket and across January. Even before that, it is what it is. That's how reality TV works now. I can tell you that I'd expect this is going to be a massive series for Seven. And if you're a fan, you'll want to tune in Monday, the 30th of January to see the first episode of Australian Idol. It runs 3 nights a week on Seven. Starts Monday the 30th at 7:30 on 7 and 7 Plus. Australian Idol season 8 is going to be massive. But wait, there's more.
This is our vow to you.
What's coming down the aisle?
I'm so ready for love.
We'll send Australia
Oh my god.
It's not easy to meet girls when you're like 900 k's from civilization.
wild.
I didn't know I loved a man bun until I loved a man bun.
The phenomenon of love is bigger
You're a lucky man. A lucky man.
than ever.
She's not doing too badly herself.
20 new brides and grooms.
I look like the girl next door. I'm actually a little freak in the sheets.
Hopelessly devoted
If you didn't know me, you'd go, something up with that guy.
to love.
I can't quite shake that I'm just seen as a sex object here.
He's so lovely. He's so nice.
From the very first wedding,
I need to tell you something. What's happening? Okay, so
the new season
you're lying.
is dynamite.
I have a picture on my phone. Oh my god. It's my worst nightmare.
Bring on the wedding bells.
Wow.
New Married at First Sight. Monday, Jan 30 on 9.
Wow. Married at First Sight returns for its 10th season. Now, a quick history lesson. Married at First Sight was the reality show that blew away the former title holder. When My Kitchen Rules hit season 10, Married at First Sight was absolutely dominating it. And that was the end of MKR. It has returned, but nowhere near a shadow of its former self. That's what it is. Season 10, you'd have to say is make or break after the huge drama of season 9, which had the OnlyFans debacle, Olivia versus Dom, and everything that has played out since then. What is season 10 going to bring us? I can absolutely promise you more drama, next level drama. Stuff is not what it seems. I got to see the first episode in a Special 9 preview that had the makers of the show there. Got to have a quick chat with them. I've since seen the second and about to devour some more of it. And it's incredible. A lot of it is under embargo, and I cannot tell you. You have to go and see it. I will tell you that in the promo, it sizzles that, a friend comes to speak to bride about what's going on. That bride's name is Bronte. And it opens the show from the first seconds of the show. The drama is laid bare. And it's phenomenal. It is so incredible to watch. This is the big show. We meet 10 brides and 10 grooms at the hens and bucks parties. Of course, that's how it kicks off after the drama sizzle. And then each episode, we get a couple of weddings and receptions. And of course, they go off on their honeymoons and we move to the next episode. So we're being introduced to our couplings and even who those couplings are, because we don't get to see that in this. I can't talk about it. And I only know the first few pairings anyway. It's bloody incredible to see how after 9 seasons they're managing to make it as compelling. And yes, it's good editing. Yes, it's good producing. Yes, it is great casting. And it's pretty phenomenal. Wait until you meet Jessie, who has an ick list. And then wait until you see how that plays out for Jessie. And form your own opinions. Of course, also in the promo, we've seen the wonderful woman of Indian heritage wearing her red and gold sari. Her name is Sandy. We get to see her wedding. Of course we do, but there's a whole lot of stuff built up in it for her as well. What does it mean? Is she going to be loved? Is the person going to love her culture and the way she's expressing it? And a whole bunch of extra stuff. It is just, on one hand, we get to see 2 people who are looking to find love seemingly prove the experts right in them connecting together, and that they're both so invested in willing to make it work that they're willing to do what they can to try hard to be in a positive, growing, healthy relationship. And then there are people that are in it that, I don't know, maybe just want more Instagram followers or TikTok followers or OnlyFans subscribers. I don't even know. It's pretty great to see and to understand how it all plays out. I'm dirt keen to see more of it. Married at First Sight has long been Nine's just jumpstart to their Q1 and to their ratings year. I would suspect that every episode of this will be unbeatable. At least it will get some challenge from Australian Idol. Maybe the first night, definitely once they get to the live episodes, because that's where we see the people we want to see go home or whatever. It will be tough to beat Married at First Sight. It's happened before, but it will be tough. There's no question. Mog's little helpful hint, warning, the first episode of Married at First Sight is 2 massive hours, including ads. So, I mean, set your PVR, do what you need to do. Just know that it's going to take ages to get through it. You might want to go, skip the ads, I'll come in later. Whatever it is, find your way to do it. The experts return, John Aiken, Mel Schilling, and Alessandra Rampolla. And of course, they've got a job to do, and that's match them first of all, and then provide ongoing advice and let's call it support to the couples as they progress. I would have to say that now 9 seasons, 10 seasons in, if at least there's at least one of them that I would look at and go, mate, if you are someone who has professional qualifications, maybe put them back in the envelope and send them back, because the advice you're offering is not awesome and it's not great. And there have been claims, of course, of producer interference in that stuff, and that brings in all sorts of ethical issues and those sorts of things. Look, Married at First Sight is glorious because it provides so many people to just offer so many thoughts, and you will want to tune in. It starts Monday night, the 30th of January. That's 2 big reality shows kicking off then. Monday, the 30th of January at 7:30 on 9, and 9 Now, of course. 4 nights a week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, this first one, but then it moves Sunday to Wednesday from there in. There are 36 episodes. So if my math is correct, 9 weeks of Married at First Sight, maybe 10 if they stretch out the last one to be on a Sunday. 10 weeks of Married at First Sight. Buckle in, friends. There's just no way that it's going to be anything but spectacular. But wait, there's even more.
In every superhero movie I've ever seen, the hero wins.
What makes someone a villain in this game is killer instinct.
When it comes to Survivor, you can play any way you like. Question is, who does it better? A hero or a villain?
I've always just had this extreme sense of right and wrong.
A villain is someone who will stoop to any level, whatever it takes to win.
I think a hero is somebody who stays loyal to the ones they say they're going to be loyal to.
There's nothing like looking someone in the eye, telling them they're safe, and then watching them get their torch snuffed.
Survivor's ready! Survivor's ready! Survivor's ready! Survivor's ready! Go! Go!
Singing.
Go!
I am willing to cross basically any lines. Don't really mind.
Courage takes on cunning. Honesty takes on deceit. Which path leads to soul survival?
Survivor's ready. Australian Survivor is back for season 8. Would you believe? Now that's doing good numbers in numbers of seasons and good business for 10 where it lives. If Married at First Sight is the granddaddy now of Australian reality television, then the American version of this format, which has just been renewed and season 43 has been filmed, season 44 is coming. The American version of Survivor with Jeff Probst fronting every single episode is amazing. And it really informs Australian Survivor. We've got our own Jeff Probst Light in Jonathan LaPaglia, who does a fine job as the host of Australian Survivor. They're back in Samoa after having a COVID series in Australia. The Heroes and Villains format is the first time we've done it in Australia, and it works really well thanks to some really excellent casting. Now, if you've seen the promo or watched it just then, you'll know, maybe picked up on some of the voices, that there's a bunch of returning heroes and villains, cast members from past seasons that really do bring their A game for the best reality TV series of it all. I've seen the first week full of episodes of this, and I am absolutely gobsmacked at how good it is and how fresh it feels. Season 8, that's a tough gig to make a reality show feel like it's fresh and smart. And because Survivor is challenge-based as much as it is interpersonal relationship-based, the challenges can't be old and stale, and they've really smashed that out of the park. And the interpersonal stuff, because we've got returning survivors and new survivors, that throws a whole big new sort of wrench, spanner into the mix, because then if you're and Hayley won last season, so of course she's the first one with a target on her back. George is there. He lost to Hayley. He's got, bone to pick with her as much as he wants to prove that he's the greatest survivor of all time. Then you got Shonny, who's like Little Miss Horrible. It's pretty incredible. And I have to say, if you're a fan of the series, or you're a contestant on the series and you haven't watched any of the Australian or American versions, what are you even doing on the show? Like, it's pretty amazing. Right from the opening challenge, the heroes versus villains thing proves that the game this season is going to be as difficult as you'd expect and absolutely as entertaining. There's real competition in the first challenge. They get to, get stuff that will help make your life better at camp. And the villains play into their stereotype with stealing stuff, and there's wrestles for gear, and it's interesting to see what the outcome is and what that looks like. It's pretty massive. The majority of the first episode, of course, has to be introductions. Who are people? Where do they come from? What's their background? What do they reveal about themselves? What are they keeping to themselves? Because, as I said, that interpersonal relationship stuff is so important, not just in surviving the game, but of course, then when you get to the pinnacle of each episode, Tribal Council, where it decides that the tribe that lost decide who's going, and what that looks like, and how does that mean for people who have to, live with each other but stab each other in the back of an evening. How are they going to play the game? Who are these new people? What does it look like? The twists and turns are phenomenal. I had a bit of a think. Now, when you think about it, these are our returning heroes or returning cast members on the heroes team. Flick, Hayley, previous winner, Nina, Sam, and Sean. Sean is a unit. He's massive. So there's 5 returning heroes. And I think what they embody, what does it mean to be a hero in this game? Integrity, effort, and some selflessness. I think that's really what makes it work. But of course, to survive in this game, you can't just be the nice guy. As far as our villains go, returning cast members, George, as I said before, Jackie, the poker player, Geordie, I hated him so much. Great character. Shonny, Simon, and Stevie. And then there's 6 other new villains, all lining up, all trying to have a go and prove that they can out-villain these villains that we've seen before. There are also new people that you might recognize. Michael West is a journo. He's in there. Benjamin Law, who I love dearly. He's a writer. He pops up, and he loved playing the game for all of the things that he can say publicly right now, of course. There's a friend of mine, Matty Sharp, who is a lifesaver. It's great to have him in there as well. And look, fans of my Unreal Housewives podcast will know that this name dripping off my lips is just poison to me. But former Real Housewife of Melbourne and journalist Angeli Rao is a part of the game. And I have to say, the only word I've got for Angeli is schadenfreude. I've already got my faves and my faves to hate. I know that you will too. It is absolutely brilliant. Heads up, Rogue's a bitch. Take it for what it's worth, but you get to see that for yourself. Now, another little Molk handy tidbit / warning. The first episode of Australian Survivor is 2 whole Australian human hours with ads. So it's massive as well. And they have a big first segment before they go to an ad, just like Idol. It's a big, everyone's trying to hook everybody in. This is on my must-watch list for Q1, and I really hope it does good business for 10. They deserve it because everything is on the screen, and you're going to love it. Australian Survivor Season 8. There are heaps episodes. It will be running 3 nights a week, but it kicks off Monday, the 30th of January. That's 3 big reality shows. Monday, the 30th of January at 7:30 p.m. on Channel 10 and on 10 Play. But wait, there's one more thing.
For those who take joy from seeing comedians humiliating themselves, good news. That's kind of our whole deal.
Tom Gleeson is
the Taskmaster.
Australia's most elite comedic minds.
I'm coming.
Battle it out in a series of incredibly important tasks, such as
Sink the bowling ball.
You cannot get wet.
The fastest wins.
What technique do you use? Maybe cricketer? Ah! Get to the ball! It's not sinking.
We're going in!
Been working out the arms, Tom. Don't want to brag. Okay, still not wet.
It satisfied the actual original task, even though it was disappointing. So did you consider that sinking? I think I'm going to mark you down harshly.
Or hear me out, don't do that.
I've heard what the crowd thinks, and the answer's no.
Taskmaster.
Get excited!
On 10 and 10 Play.
Taskmaster Australia is the first season, the first iteration of Channel 10 picking up this format from what is a UK now comedy staple. It's phenomenal in its UK iteration. If you haven't seen it, flip over to SBS or SBS On Demand. There's heaps of episodes over there. You can check it out. That means that the Australian version comes with some big expectations. Now, it is great that the Toms, Tom Gleeson is our Taskmaster and Tom Cashman is his apprentice, his offsider, the guy that gets to go around and make sure that our celebrity cast do everything that they should do and don't break the rules. For those that don't know how it works, the Taskmaster sets a bunch of challenges for the cast to complete with very explicit rules. You have to do it, as they tell you, in the quickest time, in the most correct manner. You can get disqualified if you break the rules too obviously or too much. And of course, you can be marked down if you do it, but not quite as well as Tom Gleeson, the Taskmaster, thinks you should. Most tasks are pre-recorded. They go out into the world and do stuff, but there are often some live ones that happen in the studio, and there's also other bits where they've got to bring things or be prepared. The important thing for our cast is they have to do their best and think very, very laterally, and that's what helps get them across the line ultimately. Now, this is a perfect opportunity for the Toms to lean into their bits, where Gleeson gets to punch down. That's his comedy shtick, and it is excellent. And for Cashman to hope up. He's wonderful, and they play really well. They find their great parts. Keep an eye particularly on the just the little throws to the ads to see all the Tom Cashman you'll ever need. They're brilliant, and you need to check them out. They're so much fun. Now, the cast are brilliantly selected, and each are entertaining in their own way. They bring their own, I guess, level of joy and intelligence and silliness to the process. It's a great cast. Danielle Walker, Nina Oyama, Jimmy Rees, formerly Giggle and Hoot Jimmy, Luke McGregor, and my wonderful friend Julia Morris. She is delightful, as they all are. It's really great to see just how good the cast apply themselves and have fun, because you don't want to see them go, oh, this is too hard, but you want to see them enjoy themselves and get frustrated by how simple it should be, and yet by how difficult it is. It is just wonderful. A small gripe. The first task, the opening task, was, look, not well executed, but I think it was pretty fun for the rest of the time. And honestly, I know that the bits in the studio were recorded with the live studio audience. Something's happened in the production where either they've just cut hard in with the audience laughter and applause, or they've bumped it up with a little bit of canned stuff or whatever. It just feels too forced. Let it happen naturally. And I know that in a studio that can be tough. If it's a really funny show, it will happen. And that's the thing, I think, with the first episode, you have to trust it. And I would say that this first episode is completely dependable, highly entertaining. And as the weeks progress, the rough edges will shave and shape, and it will become just, I think, the show that everyone will want to be talking about. You might not be wanting to watch it live because you might be watching maths, at least in the first week. Definitely catch up on 10 Play. I think we need to support it because it's 100% Aussie actual talent doing a new thing. Now, yes, it's a UK format that we've adopted and we're showing here, but It's totally worth it. And I cannot recommend highly enough checking out what is the incredible Taskmaster Australia for season 1. There are 10 episodes. They run weekly starting Thursday, the 2nd of February at 7:30 on Channel 10 and 10 Play. Buckle in, friends. I think it's going to be great. And that's it. That's this week's TV Binge Box. 4 big shows, 3 reality battles. That's season 8 of Australian Idol, season 10 of Married at First Sight, and season 8 of Australian Survivor. All of them kicking off on Monday, the 30th of January at 7:30. And then Taskmaster Australia starts, and it runs weekly, Thursday, the 2nd of February. That's this coming Thursday at 7:30 on 10. Now, to give you a bit of a hint on where I land, I want to give you my read on what am I previewing, what am I watching, what am I recording, as in watching live, what am I recording, and what am I ignoring. I'll try and do this every week, but I acknowledge that sometimes it doesn't work. I've got a lot of TV to watch, and how does it fit? When you've got 3 shows like this that are vying for our attention, ostensibly for 3 nights a week at the same time, what do you do? Now, I look forward to hearing from you. Let me know. Hit me up in the comments or hit me up on socials. Mulk, you were right, you were wrong. This is a show that I love. This is a show that I hate. Tell me why. That's the important stuff. For me, I will be previewing every episode of Married at First Sight as I can get my hands on. And asterisk, so will I about Australian Survivor. I'm going to put them as equally, I'm connected to both of them so high. If I have to choose, I will absolutely watch Married at First Sight live because part of the social conversation around MAFS is so great. But I'll also watch Australian Survivor live if I get the chance. So I'm torn. I'll flip between the two. I'll be recording both of them so that if I have the chance or I miss a bit, I'll go back and, I can go through it. Or if I just miss it because I'm out, there's my hook. That's what's going to happen for me. I wouldn't say that I'm going to ignore Australian Idol, but I will be not tuning into every episode. I'll definitely tune in once it gets to live because, again, if it's live, I want to see live. I want to support live TV. So that has to be watched live, which will just lean more heavily for me on my previewing schedule. But, yeah, Oz Idol is fine. It's really good. It's heartwarming, but it's just not the drama of Married at First Sight or the absolutely incredible television of Australian Survivor. And on Thursdays, the only thing I'll be watching that's worth watching is Taskmaster Australia, because not only do I want to support it because it needs our support, 10 will live and die by the ratings on this. I think it's good. Like out of the gate, it's good, and it will only get better as they get more comfortable with the format and lean into what it is and what it can be. So that's my read on this week's shows. I hope you enjoyed it and I look forward to hearing what you think about each of them. Now, my big sizzle that I gave at the top of the show, I'm a busy boy, and next week there will be no episode. It's shit sizzle. I'm sorry, guys. I just am not going to be able to get everything done I need to next week. My professional life is getting in the way of my hobby life, which is this television stuff. So unfortunately, there will be no TV Binge Box next week, but it will return the week after. I'll make sure you know about it in all of the social media stuff. But ostensibly what that means is the second Saturday, which by my math is the 11th of February, a Valentine's Day edition of TV Binge Box will come your way. And I hope you can join me for that. Like I said, if you want to keep in touch, make sure you follow me. Get all of the links from Linktree. That's linktr.ee/Steve Mulk. All of the information about what you need to know and where to find it is there. I'm really stoked about what's coming up, and I'm loving the response that I'm getting from all of you. Thank you for tuning in, whether it's on TikTok or Insta or YouTube or the TV Black Box website or on Twitter or on Mastodon. Thank you for being a part of this grand experiment that is the TV Binge Box. Big hint, the TV Black Box is back next week as well. So double your mulk, no extra cost. That's important. I'm going to leave you with that. That's been TV Binge Box. My name is Steve Mulk, and I just love television.